Hello everybody, and welcome to my first top 10 video. Now, today I'm going to be talking through my top 10 solo games. I was really debating if I should either do a top 10 favorite games or a top 10 solo games first. But because the channel obviously focuses a lot on solo gameplay, I thought I would do the top 10 solo games first, because it seemed more fitting. But I definitely also want to make a video with my top 10 favorite games, because those are definitely different. There might be some overlap here and there, but this top 10 focuses mainly on games that are either solo only or games that I've played that I think are better solo than they are multiplayer, with a few exceptions maybe, but yeah, I think that would be very fun to share with you guys. I have my cup of tea right here, and I would love for you to join me. So grab a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever drink you prefer, and let's talk about some board games. Let's go. Alright, I quickly want to mention that these are all games that I physically own. Now, there are a few games that I play on BGA and that you can play solo as well, but I've excluded those from the video. Maybe I'll do like a BGA video at some point with games that I don't own that I really like online. That could be fun. And I thought I should do a honorable mention, just one, because it's not a top 10 list on YouTube if it isn't actually a top 10 or a top 11, 12, 13 or more, because we all just can't choose 10 things. It's difficult. It's a difficult thing to do. So one honorable mention, just because I think it will work its way into my top 10, but I've only played it twice so far, so I just can't, I feel like I have to play it more to know, but that is Kinfire Delve, and I've been playing it recently. I just got it recently, and it was such a surprise for me because I didn't know this game at all, but it popped up at my local game store and it just looked so amazing. It's such a small box. The artwork is actually just mind-blowing. I don't know how they put so much beautiful artwork in such a tiny box for such a good price. It's like $20. That's insane. And I just am completely in love with the gameplay. It's a beautiful game, but I've only just started playing it. So it's an honorable mention for now, but definitely check it out. It's especially well catered for solo play. And yeah, so this top 10 will probably also change over time, because every couple of months it might even change. But right now, this is the top 10 list that I have for you. Starting at number 10. I am absolutely in love with this game, and it is called Mycelia. Now, this is a game by Ravensburger, and it is absolutely wonderful. It's such a beautifully designed game. The artwork is absolutely amazing. I've played it solo on the channel if you want to check it out. I do also really like the multiplayer. Definitely also fun, but solo it's just your turn all the time. And I feel like that's such a stupid thing to say, because that's quite obvious with solo games. But in the multiplayer with Mycelia, every turn you draw 3 cards, and it's just your turn is over so quickly, because those 3 cards don't take a lot of time to play out, usually, and your turn is just gone in like in a second, and then you have to wait again to play. And I just want to play more cards. I'm just like wanting to play the entire time because it's so fun. So the solo variant, you're just constantly playing, and that's absolutely amazing. It's a deck builder with a mushroom theme, as you can see. It's very well catered to families as well, so I think for younger children it's very fun. and you're just playing mushrooms, and you're trying to move all your dewdrops into a well or into a spring of life. I'm not sure what it's called. And the person that removes all their dewdrops first is the winner of the game, and it's absolutely lovely. Number 9, we have Paperback Adventures. Now this game I discovered this year, and it is an amazing game. It's solo only, and so far they have 3. It's kind of like Final Girl, if you're familiar with that. So you have one core box that has the core components of the game, but you can't play the game if you only have the core box. And there's 3 additional characters that you can buy, so you can just buy one of them and you're set to go, and you can have endless amounts of fun with just one character. So there's 3 so far. So you have Damsel, you have Bloodhook, and then there's the robot one, Ex Machina. All 3 are fantastic. I personally prefer Damsel and Ex Machina. I think they're a bit easier if you're starting out, and Bloodhook is more complex. And I'm not great. It's a word game where you have a hand of cards, and you have to spell out words, which is not my strong suit, let me tell you. But it's so fun to do. It's like a boss battle, so you're just fighting boss after boss after boss, and you have to make your way through the story as far as you can go, and try to defeat like the big end boss. And you fight with these cards with letters on them, and you have to make words. And so Damsel is more of a like medieval theme, Ex Machina obviously more futuristic, and then Bloodhook is like a pirate theme. And Damsel's more aggressive, so it's a bit more, you are defeating the boss fights more easily, in my opinion. And Ex Machina is more a defensive play, which I do love a defensive play, so I really enjoy playing the Ex Machina. And Bloodhook really depends on you making the longest words that you can for maximum impact, and that is just not happening over here, so if you know what I mean. So but an amazing game. All right, number 8, we have Sleeping Gods. Now I had to put this on here, obviously. I do think this game plays better with a group than solo, but I haven't played it with a group. I've only played it solo. They did release 2 newer games. One is Soaring Skies. I'm gonna put pictures up here. And the other one is Primeval Peril. Especially the Primeval Peril one is a shorter version that I think would be better if you play it solo. And even Distant Skies, that's it, is I think a very good solo version of the game, which I both haven't played, but that's just my guess when I've seen videos about it. And Sleeping Gods is just a much bigger game to manage, which is something I just don't have that much experience in. It takes a while to set up, which for me, I just don't play it as often as I would like, because it's such a big game to set up, and it just takes up so much table space. And then I want to play a different game, so I would have to clean it all up again, but I don't want to clean it up because I want to play it to like in the weekend or something. So you know what I'm saying? But it's honestly, it's such an amazing game, so it had to be in the top 10 because I am completely blown away by it, and I love to play it when it is out. But it's just, yeah, maybe I should try the Primeval Peril one. I am curious about that one. So if you've played it, please let me know. At number 7, we have a very cute little game called Café. I've played Café on the channel as well, and I love that game. I just think that it's amazing. It's so cute and quick, but it's strategic. I've never gotten a high score in my life while playing Café. I'm pretty I'm pretty bad at the game, but it's so fun. It's a coffee management game, I would say, because you're not running a cafe, but you're producing coffee for distribution. So you're planting, growing, drying, and distributing to little restaurants and cafes. So that's the basis of the game. It's a very simple production, but the artwork is beautiful, and it's just very thinky. It's very puzzly how you're laying down certain cards. You have to overlap cards with each other to build out your production area, and you have to make certain combos, and when it's working, it's just so satisfying. And you've played a game in, I think, 15 minutes, and it's just absolutely wonderful. Up next we have number 6, Under Falling Skies. Now, I've talked about this game in my mid-year game tag, board game tag, and it is absolutely wonderful. I love that game so much. It's incredible. I have to play it on the channel. I really want to make a video about it, so it's gonna happen at some point. There are so many games that I want to play. It's a campaign style alien invasion sci-fi type game. It's like a roll and draft. Is that? I'm not even sure if that's the mechanics that you would use for it. But you're rolling dice and you're placing your dice in certain areas to have them do a certain thing. So you're either researching, you're gathering energy for your actions. You need energy to use the actions. If you're out of energy, you can't do the actions. You're defending your city or your base from these aliens that are like descending down towards you. It's basically Alien Invasion, the video game, Invaders, Space Invaders, but a board game. It's literally that. And you're placing dice. And even though it's a dice rolling game, which usually you're dependent really on luck, in this game it's not. I mean, obviously the dice rolling is a luck element, but you placing the dice, there's so many options of how you place the dice that it's more strategic than luck. Definitely more strategic. I would say it's like, out of 5, I would say it's like strategy 4 and luck maybe 2. You really have to think about what you're doing. It's amazing. It's very addictive. Once you're playing, I just play a couple games in a row once I've set it up because it's so fun. Number 5. I mean, obviously I love all these games. So this whole top 10 is basically just a big, like, number 1. But yeah, so number 5, Three Sisters. I love Three Sisters so much. It is such a good game. I don't understand why I don't see it more. I think, you know, there's just a lot of people that don't particularly enjoy a roll and write, but it's so good and it's so fun, and the dice are beautiful. The ones are little pumpkins. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want a die with a pumpkin on it? You know what I mean? But you're basically just planting seeds, crops in your garden, fruit. You're trying to get some equipment to help you with harvesting or with gathering rain, so you have more water to water your crops. And there's this other farmer Edith, and she is a absolute she's the meanest person ever in board game history, is Farmer Edith in Three Sisters. And she's just messing up your crops. She's just going into your garden and she's like stomping on your crops and stuff, just destroying them. Absolutely rude. Absolutely. Just, why would you do that? It makes no sense. So in the solo version, you play against Edith and you're trying to have the most points. And Edith is just being an annoying little bitch, to be quite honest. Number 4, we have Arnak. Arnak. I'm not even sure how to say that in English. That's so funny. Arnak, we all know this game. You can't tell me you don't know it. It's a very popular game. It works wonderfully solo. Absolutely amazing solo gameplay. Is very difficult as well. I don't think I've ever gotten like a really good score in Arnak. I'm definitely not very good at it, but it's really, really fun. It's like worker placement, but also a deck builder. It has all my favorite elements. I love a deck builder, I love worker placement, and it is like a jungle expedition type of game. Every mechanic in it makes sense, which is just, I love it when board games make sense thematically and with the components that they've decided to put in. So for example, you have item cards that you can buy and artifacts, like rare artifacts that you find on the expedition. And during the game, there are less items that you can buy and more artifacts. So it's like a shift throughout the rounds, and it signifies that you are discovering more and more like temples or ruins, and eventually you have more artifacts than just base items and stuff like that. It just really makes me so happy that it's so well thought out. The artwork is beautiful. I really want to try the expansions. There's a few expansions and I haven't played any of them. So if you have and you prefer one over the other, or you're saying like, oh, you should definitely try that expansion and not the other one, please let me know, because I'd love some tips, because I really want to get into it more. But it's definitely one of my favorite games of all time. Number 3, we have Eila and Something Shiny, which if you follow my channel, you know I've been playing through the chapters of it, and it is just the most incredible game, production-wise and story-wise, that I've seen in a very, very, very long time. Gameplay-wise, it is probably my favorite gameplay ever of a game. The reason it's not number 1 is because the story will end at a certain point, and there is some replayability to it. You get different storylines, different endings to certain chapters, but it definitely has a limited replayability, and that's just sad. But it's definitely, I don't know why, I can't explain it. You're just flipping a card, you're reading the story, you're choosing, do I do A, B, C, where am I going, and you're exploring the story. That's it. It's just like a choose your own adventure style board game with item management and battle combat and exploration. I don't know, I just think it's a board game that feels like a video game, and I've never experienced that before in the way that Eila does it. And I really, 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 really hope that Starling Games, is that what they're called? Why am I so bad at publishers? I'm so sorry. But I really hope that the publisher, I'll put the name in the video, I'll just put it here, that they make another game like this, please. Or, I don't know, I want to say like a DLC, like an expansion, or just a completely new story. Whatever they make, I will buy. Please. I just need it. It's so good. Okay, enough about Eila. Number 2. There's just the number 2 and the number 1s are just, it was difficult to choose what to put as number 1 and number 2, because I feel like it's all so close together, you know what I mean? But at number 2, I have Final Girl. Final Girl. Wow. When Final Girl was announced and released, when I heard about it, at least, I mean, I heard about it after the Kickstarter, so I just got it at a retail store. But I was blown away by the concept. It was the first ever solo-only board game that I discovered. I didn't even know that that was a thing at that point. And it opened a whole new world to me, and I will forever be grateful to Van Ryder Games and to Final Girl for existing and for showing me the way to the solo gameplay world of board games. I am a huge horror fan. I love horror movies. And this is just, I feel like it's just made for me. The gameplay is fun. You're rolling dice, you're buying cards, you're fighting this monster, you're trying to save victims. It's incredible. If you enjoy horror themed games and you like a challenge, then I would highly recommend you check out Final Girl. It's an experience unlike any other. And the replayability is just up there. So it's, like I said, it's the same as Paperback Adventures. You have a core box, which is the base components of the game. And then you need additional character boxes to play the game. Now, there's, at this point, 2 seasons out, so there's many characters you can choose from. But if you have, I mean, if you only have one, you're already getting a plethora of playtime and fun. But if you, I would recommend at least getting 2, because even when you've played both of the games separately, you can mix and match. So you can like grab a monster or a villain from one game and then get the final girl from the other game and the location, and then you can just like kind of mix and match, which gives a whole new experience again. So the replayability for this is unsurmountable. It's just incredible. They even released an app recently, which is amazing, where you can track your plays and even like the mixed plays that you're doing. So if you're mixing from different boxes, you can like put it in the app and record your loss or your victory. And it's very fun. So I highly recommend checking out Final Girl. Tea break. Grab your tea if you didn't already. All right, the final game, which are 2 games, because obviously I couldn't choose one game for the number 1, because yeah, that's just the way it is. So for number 1, up first, I have, obviously, if you didn't guess it, it's Calico. I love Calico. It's the game I've played the most ever in my life, and the game that I've played the most on the channel as well. It is just the perfect solo game. It's easy setup, it's a quick playthrough, it's puzzly, it's difficult, it's a challenge, it's cozy. It's everything. And if you didn't know, they announced a new game, a new Calico game called Knitting Circle. And I'm so excited. I don't even know anything about it. I mean, it's probably a knitting themed game with cats. And I guess it will be the same type of gameplay. I don't even know. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I don't care. Everything they make, I will buy. All right? So I am so excited. So that's not even a top 10 thing. I just wanted to mention that there's a new Calico game coming out. So if you love Calico, there's a new game coming out. I don't know when. I'm pretty sure next year. So early 2025 maybe. But I don't know. But that would be amazing. And then my other number 1 game, which I just couldn't choose. All right. And it is Obsession. I love Obsession. I haven't played it on the channel yet, but I will soon. I very, very, very kindly got gifted the game by Dan Halligan, which is the designer of the game and the publisher. It's published by Kayenta Games, which is like his publishing company, and it is absolutely the most wonderful game to ever exist in the universe. It is, even though it's a big box, the setup is very quick, much quicker than you would expect. And the same with Mycelia. I feel I just want to keep playing, so I prefer the solo mode, so I can just keep going, and I don't have to wait on other people's turns. And I don't know what it is with this game that makes me love it so much. It's the tiles, the feeling of the tiles, the quality of the game is so good, and I don't know, the theme, I'm a huge like Pride and Prejudice fan, and like Regency era stuff. I love it. It's amazing. And it's, I don't even know, it's such a unique game as well. So it's worker placement, but not. It's deck building, but not. It's, I don't even know. I don't even know. Okay, I'm gonna put a video on the channel and I'll explain it better there. But you're basically trying to court or romance some of the nobility, and you are hosting activities, and you have servants that are helping you host, and you have your family and guests, and it's just a whole party basically, and it's amazing. Yeah, such a wonderful game. All right, so that is my top 11 basically solo games that at this point in time are my all-time favorites, and as I've said, this will probably change over time because, you know, that's just the way it is. Maybe the top 3 will maybe not move as much, but the other ones might shift around or get exchanged. You know how it is. We all know how it is with the board games. And I hope this wasn't too rambly of a video. I always feel like I'm not very coherent when I talk about board games, but I just love to ramble on. I could talk on and on and on about board games. I think we probably all could. So yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with more solo playthroughs for you very soon. Bye!